Imagine for a moment that the foundations of everything you believed about raw computing muscle are about to crumble. Picture this. The M3 Ultra and even the upcoming M4 Ultra, they're mere warm-ups, tantalizing bites before the feast. Apple is quietly forging a beast so transformative, so utterly disruptive, that will rewrite the very definition of what a professional workstation can be. This isn't some minor tweak or a polished refresh. It's a seismic upheaval in silicon and design. Fast forward to 2026, where the spotlight falls on the Apple M5 Ultra Max Studio, and those faint murmurs leaking from Cupertino have swelled into a thunderous call to arms. If you fancy yourself a heavy hitter in tech, if your M3 Max feels like a speed demon today, buckle up. You're in for a revelation that makes it look quaint. Today, we're not chasing shadows or idle gossip. We're piecing together the puzzle from supply chain intel, evolutionary blueprints, and Apple's unmistakable trail of innovation. By the end, you'll have a vivid blueprint of a powerhouse that demands your full attention. This is the unfiltered, eye-opening breakdown you've been craving. Ditch the noise. This is a narrative that cuts to the core, and I promise, you'll hang on every word. What grabs you most about a machine like this already? Hit the comments and let me know. Your take could spark the next big debate. To grasp what's barreling toward us, we first need to confront the grind right now. Step into 2024 or 2025, and if you're deep in the trenches of creation, you're slamming into barriers that no amount of caffeine can breach. As a 3D sculptor crafting sprawling, lifelike realms and tools like Blender, Cinema 4D, or Octane Render, you fire up that final output and pause. It's coffee runs turning into full meals, hours bleeding into days of idle staring. Sure, the M3 Ultra delivers solid punches, but real-time magic for blockbuster-level visuals? That's still a pipe dream. Or take the indie director who's captured epic footage on a red Via Raptor in blistering 12K resolution. Not your standard 8K fare. You haul it into your editing bay, layer on a nuanced color pass, weave in effects, or sync a frenzy of 5 camera angles, and bam! The playback hitches, frames vanish, and you're scrambling for proxy stand-ins because even your flagship rig is gasping for air. Shift to the AI tinkerer or data wizard wrestling with on-device model training or intricate predictive runs. The revved-up neural hardware helps, no doubt, but a far cry from the relentless throughput of a cloud-based NVIDIA H100 cluster, which drains your wallet by the thousands each month. This is the unvarnished truth for those at the pinnacle. We're awash in escalating data deluges, our vision swelling beyond horizons, yet our gear is treading water, barely buoyant. Apple doesn't just spot these choke points. They thrive on them, turning constraints into catapults. They're not here to match the pack. They're wired to vault light years ahead, leaving rivals in a haze of exhaust. Unlocking the M5 Ultra's destiny means decoding Apple's Ultra ethos. It's less a processor and more a manifesto etched in engineering. Flashback to the M1 Ultra. In a stroke of audacious wizardry, they married 2 M1 Max dies into a singular eddy via ultrafusion, erasing the seams so seamlessly it felt like alchemy. The payoff? Twice the neural firepower, double graphical might, bandwidth that surged like a river unleashed, and a staggering 128 gigabytes of seamless, shared memory that redefined capacity. A colossus was born. The M2 Ultra honed that edge. The M3 Ultra sharpened it to a razor's keenness. But peel back the layers, and the rhythm reveals itself. Each wave isn't mere escalation in count. It's a reimagining of the silicon soul itself. M1 proved the spark could ignite. M2 tempered the flame. M3 leaped to the 3 nanometers frontier. Yet the M5? It rises from bedrock entirely alien, a canvas primed for the extraordinary. Hold tight. Let's sculpt this titan from the ground up. It's 2026, and Apple's decade-spanning alliance with TSMC has unlocked vaults once thought sealed. We transcended 3 nanometers. Whispers herald the 2 nanometers node, or perhaps an audacious 1.8 nanometers frontier. Why does this matter? It's not trivial shrinkage. It's a quantum leap in transistor packing, so dense it flirts with the edges of possibility, yielding efficiency and velocity that feel otherworldly, almost extraterrestrial. Kick off with the CPU. The M3 Ultra's 28-core setup? Charming relic. Intel murmurs a base M5 Max already boasting 20 cores, 16 fire-breathing performance units twinned with 4 thriftier efficiency sentinels. Invoke Ultra Fusion, bond 2 such hearts, and behold, a 40-core behemoth with 32 next-gen Avalanche cores that don't just nudge speeds up 15%. They overhaul the playbook. Wider pipelines gobble instructions in droves. Caches balloon to hoard data. Like dragons, front ends broaden to feast on complexity. Envision Xcode churning through a sprawling codebase that once begged an hour's patience, now wrapping in a brisk 10 minutes. Or fluid sims and engineering suites, unfolding in unyielding real time. This is an acceleration. It's transplanting data center dominance onto your workbench. Yet the CPU's prowess is merely the overture. The GPU steals the symphony. The M3 Ultra wields graphical authority with aplomb, but the M5 Ultra declares open season on NVIDIA's turf, charging with unbridled intent. Reports peg the M5 Max at 64 GPU cores, re-architected from the atoms up. Ray tracing woven natively into the fabric, mesh shading streamlined to have the overhead. Fuse M, and you're wielding 128 cores, a viewport into infinity. Pause and let that sink in. For the 3D visionary in Blender, it's gliding through polygon oceans numbering in the billions, draped in intricate maps and bathed in path trace glow, all without toggling to draft mode. The canvas you see is the masterpiece unveiled. The Resolve Maestro tackles 12K Blackmagic raw reels, stacking 30 layers of denoising fury, organic grain, and esoteric tricks like halo diffusion, then cues playback. Fluid, immediate, no proxies in sight. This rig doesn't court the RTX 4090 or its successor. It leaves them red-faced, not through brute tally, but via the alchemy of unified memory, Apple's eternal ace. No more shuttling payloads between silos. It's a boundless reservoir. The M3 Ultra crested at 192 gigabytes. Formidable. The M5 Ultra leaks tease LPDDR6 bandwidth exploding to 1.5 terabytes per second, with entry-level configs at 128 gigabytes unified, scaling to a mind-melting BTO pinnacle of 768 gigabytes. Say it's slow, 768 gigabytes. What sorcery demands such expanse? Not mere scene loads. You ingest Metropolis-spanning vistas, every prop from a feature film's arsenal. Orchestral savants don't cue samples. They orchestrate the full symphony of libraries. Latency a forgotten myth. AI alchemists don't juggle one model. They orchestrate a quintet in harmony. This transcends machinery. It's a category forged anew, a workstation as distinct from a desktop as a starship from a rowboat. We've held the crown jewel in reserve. If the CPU evolves and the GPU erupts, the neural engine ascends to the ethereal. AI isn't a trend. It's the tide reshaping all shores, and Apple rides its crest. The M3's neural unit was a vanguard. The M5 Ultras, a sovereign accelerator, etched directly into the die as a 128-core oracle. But metrics? Mere digits. The whispers? Audacious. 300 trillion operations per second, figures that strain credulity. This isn't Siri on steroids or photo polish. It's sovereignty in silicon for AGI unbound by servers. Envision a Sentinel AI, native to your Mac Studio, verse in your life's ledger. Every misappend, every file forged, every snapshot captured, all offline, inviolate. Query it. Resurrect that 2024 clip of my pup in his AzureNet, morph it into a 30-second cinematic scroll with pulse-pounding audio, and in 5 heartbeats, it's wrought. Your editor wraps a 2-hour dialogue marathon, drops it in, taps generate. Transcription flashes, peak hook surface, 10 viral nuggets sliced to 916 bytes, caption with flair, render fleet as thought. The labor of a quintet social squad, dispatched while your brew steams. The composer sketches a melody on air. The M5 attunes, conjuring strings and swell, percussion and thunder, bass in your signature groove. Distill from every logic canvas you've etched. This is an aid. It's amplification, a muse embedded in the ether, exponentiating invention. Such a 2 nanometers deity of a die craves a throne beyond the familiar Mac Studio shell. No, that compact vault won't tame its inferno. Even at atomic scales, it bursts heat like a smithy. Enter 2026 not with a chip alone, but a reimagined fortress. Scuttlebutt painted elongated, not broadened, a vertical sentinel, akin to twin studios fused skyward, yet indivisible. The Y, thermals unchained. Ditch rope fans for a symphony. Silken words for idle whispers, but when the M5 surges, a veiled liquid cascade awakens. Apple, embracing the aqueous, sealed loop siphoning fervor from the core of velocities that defy decay, sustaining zenith output eternal. Launched at 8K Epix Genesis, and it holds 100% throttle across 72-hour vigils. Frequency unyielding. And the interfaces? Pros please answered. Rearward, 6 Thunderbolt 6 conduits. Dual 25 GB spine for stored symphonies at warp. 8 native 8K display harbors to command mural arrays. Frontline, SD ingress at last, twin Thunderbolt 6, and a CF Express Type B haven for Cinema Vanguard. There she stands, the M5 Ultra Max Studio. 40-core Cerebral Storm, 128-core Visual Vortex, 768 gigabytes memory Maelstrom, 300 trillion neural nexus, aqueous armored bastion, and the query that haunts, the toll? The maxed M3 Ultra Studio already crests $8,000. This Leviathan scoffs at consumer cuffs. It's forged for animation empires like Pixar, effects ateliers like ILM, Vanguard AI dens, and Hollywood's Gilded Suites. Base ingress, $5,999, a gateway, not the grail. Crave the full 128-core Blaze, 768 gigabytes reservoir, 32 terabytes SSD at 10 gigabytes per second velocity. Brace for $15,000. And the twist that appends, it's a steal, a rival rig, H100 Heart, Threadripper spine, 768 gigabyte sprawl, balloons to $50,000, yet lacks the seamless weave, the elegant pulse. It's a cacophony of clamor, heat, and gluttony. Apple delivers that colossus for a fraction, elegance incarnate. This defies evolution, it's genesis. The 2026 M5 Ultra Max Studio isn't hardware. It's heraldry, Apple staking claim amid the ruins. Intel, AMD, NVIDIA. The epic closes. We triumph. This forge bursts the celluloid sagas of the 2030s, architects the immersive realms of tomorrow, midwives the dawn of desktop AGI. As the chorus fixates on M4 skirmishes, you hold the oracle. You discern the horizon. But that's my canvas from the vines. Now, your canvas, what eluded me? Does 768 gigabytes defy reason or demand more? A 40-core mind insufficient? Your ideal M5 blueprint? The feat you'd unleash? Spill in the comments. Let's ignite the forum. And if you've journeyed to this juncture, your kin and curiosity, a seer amongst circuits. Anchor here. Subscribe. Ring the alert. The dawn we dissected draws nigh. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.